One thing about AEW I can tell you from just looking at these three first matches is that AEW knows how to give you a three-ring circus. You got your technical spectacular with Kenny Omega and Jack Sabre Jr. You got your Jon Moxley match. You got Pac versus Shota, which is the first match I was actually like paying attention to. The Kenny Omega Zack Sabre Jr. match, I gotta rewatch it. I think there's a lot of stuff that I missed, but Pac and Shota had a great story and probably the best story out of the three matches. Cause yeah, Kenny and Zack's story is just I'm better than you, better than me, I'm better than you, and then they fight about it, and that's fine. But Jon Moxley wins, lol. Pac versus Shota. So this match had the story in that Shota is Moxley's like young boy, or was. He kind of abandoned him when he couldn't figure himself out. And now that he seems to be figuring himself out, he got huge also. Like, wowee, look at how big Shota is. Look at how big dude is. He got huge. And look at Pac with the legs. I'm a big fan of Pac's really plain outfits, and I cannot wait to see what kind of singlet he wears next. Me and my friends are hoping he goes for the legless singlet, the Rhino Jam, or I think he's wearing the Rhino Jam right now. He looks good. I mean, he looks good in anything, but these little simple, like old school British wrestling outfits just fit his physique really well. He comes off like a circus strongman. That might be what he's going for. It suits him. It's great. And Shota showed that he ain't no slouch. He hit a lariat on Pac that was incredible. I was like, damn, that's it. Wrap it up. To Pac. And the story being that, hey, Claudio was sent to destroy him recently because Mox couldn't be bothered. It shows that Shota has grown. He was able to beat Pac. And I'm sure he's going to fight Gabe Kidd next. And then he's going to work his way back up to Claudio and then back up to Mox. But I love that he was able to do what he was able to do here. It definitely actually finally put me on board with Shota Umino. Because my predictions were incredibly cynical, I just assumed that Jon Moxley was gonna beat Bandito no matter how hard Bandito fought. I'm desperately tired of Jon Moxley. I think he does need to take that vacation already. We need a breather from him, and I need a breather from his style of wrestling. I'm kind of tired of it, TBH. It feels like he has the same exact match every time, but it's up to his opponent to kind of mix it up. And I think that Bandito did a great job of that. Jon Moxley was a jackass, rips up his mask, exposes most of his face, and then goes, I respect you, kid. Fuck you. You ripped up his mask, asshole. Ultimate Rudo sign of disrespect. The only way you could have made it worse is by taking it, which in a lucha match would have got your ass disqualified. Speaking of, I love the Japanese announcer and American announcer. We need a Spanish announcer. It just felt like poor CMLL was underrepresented. Even though I figured that the Young Bucks were going to take this, El Sky Team was impressive. The first match is the Unbound Co. versus the Young Bucks and El Sky Team. El Sky Team really turned it up here. I was honestly like really down on Dorado. Not down on him, I just kind of felt he was being forced on my throat, but he definitely proved he has his spot for a reason. And of course, like, the Young Bucks are gonna just put on a good match. But I just felt like this was just slightly above average. Like, AEW is always so good that it's kind of a handicap to itself. That a match like this, for me, is only a 7 out of 10. The Cope and Cage versus the Dog match was honestly helped by the shenanigans. I was never really a big fan of Edge, and he seems kind of limited, even though he's moving really well, he's doing stuff. He just kind of always was just a standard WWE wrestler, so he hasn't really opened up to his new AEW moveset yet. But I got to see a double spear, and that was hella. We also finally got some answers to some questions, or we're finally going to get answers to some questions. My biggest issue with the Dogs was, hey, why ain't you talking about the Bullet Club? And for that matter, why aren't you talking about the Elite? Weren't you guys all in the same stable once upon a time? Aren't you guys all still in the same stable? If you're not, so I'm hoping that Switchblade on Wednesday sheds some light on what the hell's going on with these stables. Because I feel like the Dogs just showed up without rhyme or reason, even though they have alliances and stuff. They just kind of are doing their own thing. And honestly, the shenanigans really held this match together. I gotta give this one a 7. Maybe a 6.5. But let me tell you, when those lights went off, I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Because all me and my friends wanted was for all of the Bang Bang Gang to be together again in that opening. And we didn't quite get it. But we gonna get it on Wednesday, and I am so over the moon excited. We also had Tekla versus Starlight Kid. I love this story. This was the story of Forbidden Door. Tekla is amazing and number one. I didn't think anybody was going to be able to hold down the women's division when Toni Storm had to be killed, but goddamn, Tekla did it. Everything she does, she's the coolest person in the room, always. And usually when she's in that room, she's standing on something so that she's tall. I love the story of Starlight Kid coming out here and trying to defend the honor of her promotion. I love that she said it's not over. And I also love that Tekla stole her mask. Everything about this was fire, especially Starlight Kid's mask, the really cool Liger mask. Tekla was the glue holding the concept of Forbidden Door together because I'm going to be real, the concept of Forbidden Door is weak, and I wouldn't be upset if they decided to trash this concept altogether next year. Just because it feels like they're just scraping together matches at the last minute, and yeah, they deliver, but I want some more meat. I want some more story going into these. And let's face it, New Japan ain't exactly popping in the stars department. Maybe next time, some spice would be maybe to add some GCW to the mix. Especially if you're going to be bleeding the way you were bleeding tonight. So the Tekla Starlight Kid match, 9. So we got a 9 for Tekla Starlight, and we got a Copen Cage Dogs, 6. 6.5. Let's see what Cage Match thinks. So we got, okay, Tekla and Starlight Kid, that got a 7. Interesting. And then, yeah, Copen Cage, wow, okay, bam, 6.3. So that's even more, that's even less than I would have given it. Then we got Mercedes Moné versus Maya World, which I said it once and I'll say it again. Fantastic name. And we got Jeff Jarrett earlier on in the show in the video package. Any day we can get Jeff Jarrett and Maya World on the same show, my heart is warm. One of the best Cinderella stories I've ever seen. She is made. She's a star. And in that match, she held her own against Mercedes Moné. I got to give that match another 9, maybe a 10. And yeah, maybe it'll probably be lower because Mercedes won again. And maybe people are tired of Mercedes. But it felt like this was the right outcome. Besides, it's the same reason why I figured that Edge and Christian would win the tag match. All In's coming up, they need big names on the marquee to sell tickets. Which is why I knew Darby Allin, who's right here, hey Darby, wouldn't be the champion at this point. He's a name, but his name is not that big yet. Because he keeps taking breaks to do dumb shit. Climbing that mountain took away from his becoming a star time, even though it added to the legend of Darby Allin. Yo, let's go Cage Match. Alright, we on the same page for once. A 9.18. You know what? I'll take it. Let's go. They earned it. So far, that's probably the highest ranked match of the night. Oh no, Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. Apparently they also earned it. I heard it was a crazy match. Again, I only saw the very end and maybe the warm-up beginning section, so I am hyped to rewatch that match. Alright, let's talk about Death's Door. What a great name for a cage. It gives me this cage to talk vibes. Remember, I think the TNA cage spoke for a while, but this cage here is round. It's kind of like, I would call it like a Lion's Den match, but there's no lid. But it gave these boys lots of room to play. It's kind of like their Hell in a Cell. I really like that it's a perfectly circular cage too. This match was probably my match of the night. 10. Cage match. The backpacks. The stuff in the backpacks. Packed lunch. Using Lio Rush as a weapon. Lio Rush running around and being Lio Rush. Lio Rush being recaptured and sent back to the Shadow Realm. All of that was spectacular. And then a man fucking blew up. And storylines get to actually go places. We had an NES be used as a weapon. We had Kyle O'Reilly wearing the Memorial Ishii shirt, even though Ishii's just hurt and he'll be okay. The whole match was great. Then you had the antics with the Don Callis family. That whole group deteriorating. Finally, Andrade is free, and he had a shirt you absolutely cannot re-show on television, or probably sell. And now Andrade's a free man. The only problem with that is it has a lot of storyline implications. Isn't Andrade part of the United Empire? And also, he's the money man, so Don Callis ain't gonna be getting no more United Empire wrestlers on retainer. He done screwed that up. So I love little things like that, that it's not even an AEW storyline that's being affected. It's ripple effects throughout the entire industry. And I love stuff like that. And I love the fact that all these promotions are working together because it makes the wrestling world an open place instead of a closed one. And I think that's probably how wrestling should be. I don't think we're going to get territories ever again, but I think this is the new way. So yeah, the cage match is my match of the night. 10 out of 10. All right, let's see what cage match thinks. 8.97. I liked it more than most, but I loved it. I didn't just like it, I loved it. This is what I want. This is my type of stuff. It's main event time. When Tony Khan was like, all right, it's time for the main event, I was like, wait, there's another match after the cage match? I kept furiously looking at my watch like, oh god, I gotta work tomorrow. This match definitely was worth it. And what I mean by that is the Death Rider stuff. I'm kind of over the Death Riders. I think they ran their course, and I don't know why they're still around. Fantastic match. All the bullshit surrounding it, I hate. But the match itself was hot fire. Swerve, who's actually cool, came out here in Lobo cosplay doing that brand synergy. I was wondering why he was at the red carpet event with Harley, who's dressed as Supergirl. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's doing it too. Maybe Warner Brothers has it in your contract, like, if you're gonna do brand synergy, we need you at the event. Maybe they just asked, fuck, I want free premiere tickets to the comic book movie. Love his costume. Will's costume as Bane, I don't quite understand, except there's a Nightfall movie coming out. This is not the Bane that's in it, and the movie that this Bane is from is not good. The costume looked cool, and I like that it has smoke coming out of it, much like Vader's old mask, even though that's not what Bane does. And also, I don't know if you want to be pretending to be the steroid guy when you come out to do your wrestling. The match itself, it's fantastic, 10 out of 10. Again, the Death Rider stuff surrounding it, I hated it. I think Will Ospreay was better without them. I think Will Ospreay is fine, but I think this is the slow descent into madness. Like, he's driving himself crazy to try to get this big glowing match in his home country, in this stadium he's always wanted to go to, and he's gonna do anything to get there. And I don't think that, like, he's past that threshold yet of doing anything. He beat the hell out of Swerve. Oh man, the amount of blood in this match was crazy, which is why I can't show you anything from it. Like, I would need the NWO mode, and I haven't reset that up yet for this particular program that I'm using. But oh man, it was bloody. Swerve had a gusher. There was also a lot of Hangman stuff going on here. We got a buckshot hidden blade, which is dope. That just reminds me how similar Cowboys and Samurai are. I think Will's character, first and foremost, has always been weeb. It's slowly morphed into I'm an actual assassin from the video game, so that's fine too. That makes his choice to be Bane even weirder. Wouldn't you want to be Ra's al Ghul, the, assassin? Will wins the match. He's going off to fight in his home country. He did it with the help of his weird Fight Club friends. So because of that, I gotta give this match a 9. Third best match of the night, specifically for the dumb reasons I gave. But I was way more impressed by Maya World, Tekla, and that cage match. I don't know what to say. An 8.94. That's pretty much exactly what I gave it. So let's see what some people think about that. The first comment is a 10. They give that match a 10 out of 10. One of the 3 matches of the night, along with Kenny and ZSJ, and Mercedes and Maya. I'm glad this person also understands. This felt like the first time I've seen Swerve locked in since All Out with Hangman. They went in there with a point to prove, and to make us feel like both guys deserve this win, and they achieved that. Alright, great review. Alright, this person who hated the match. I'm not gonna go that far, but tell me why you mad, friend. Wow, you have a lot of reasons to be mad. Okay, let's get into this. I'll come down here until it's time for me to move. I'm so sorry, there's a lot of words. Such a clusterfuck of a match. I feel like I just couldn't get into it, and it results in me never getting into it. I'll start out with the positives. The blood looked phenomenal. It did. Some of the shots they got with both guys just pouring buckets was nuts. There were some good spots in the match because both guys in the match can be great workers. I enjoyed the teasing of the vertebraker and most of the neck work. Swerve was going to Ospreay. Now here's the negative aspects. You know what? Friend comes out here with positives first. You gotta love it. I respect that. These two just refused to end the match, and it seemed like it just dragged out the entire 4+ hour long show longer than it should have. Honestly, I was also looking at my watch like, okay, it's time to go home. What else do you have? There was one part of the match where Swerve was laying on the ground, bleeding out, and then he somehow managed to get in the ring. That was my favorite hope spot. Realistically, Will should have never kicked out of the vertebraker, and that ending sequence was just brutal to watch in the worst way. I also absolutely hated the shots where Will looked like he was dead and then was right back up to in the OsCutter into a hidden blade, into a Styles Clash, or whatever it may be, like nothing ever happened to him. Yeah, but that's because the Death Riders made him hard. I guess. I don't know. I do like second win spots if done correctly, but not to the point where you just end up on your 43rd second win in the first 10 minutes of the match. The flow of the match was also very odd. They would do some crazy stuff and just pause for 5 minutes. Then they'd both right back up again like nothing gonna happen, and none of it made sense at all. That seems to me like they're dead for 10 minutes because they're trying to catch their breath after doing all the crazy stuff. And okay, I'm back up, let's fucking go. That doesn't bother me, that's fine. I think the end spot where Will looked at Moxley after no-selling getting his head kicked in by Swerve was just bad and not needed. I agree, but that's the story they're telling, unfortunately. Overall, the pacing of this match could have been much, and it would have definitely benefited from having some of the time shaved off of it. Matches like this do nothing but hurt the image of both superstars involved. They're just wrestlers here, it's okay. Just an absolute nothing spot fest with nothing but absurd kickouts. Disappointing is an understatement. Yeah, just from calling them superstars, I seem to get what's going on here. You just don't like this style of wrestling in general, and that's fine. However, I do see and understand some of your gripes and points. They went out there and had the most anime match of all time. Good on both of them. That's exactly the kind of match I've expected from both of them. I'll see you for predictions for the next show.